So what is the fallout from this delay for these small businesses? Now, a deadline for them has been pushed back by a year. But what does that mean exactly? Jean Card is the Vice President of Media and Communications for the National Federation of Independent Business, which is a small business advocacy group. The NFIB had concerns about this law since the start. Jean, thank you for being here. So we've been talking on the show about how most of these small businesses, Obamacare wasn't really kicking in for them right now anyway, because there was a loophole in the law that didn't really require them to sign up until next year. So of what import is this one-year delay that the president just imposed on them in terms of using the healthcare.gov website?
Yeah, that's right, Megan. We've been talking to a lot of business owners and hearing from a lot of people every day, and they're actually renewing their plans early so that they are grandfathered, which basically means they're not required to have such rich, expensive plans that will be required under Obamacare for everyone eventually.
They don't need it for a year. That's the loophole that they're exploiting. They're allowed to. So they're not going to suffer all these things until a year from now.
That's right. And a year from now, it's going to be ugly. And what happened today, I think, is more insult to injury. I mean, this law is so bad for small business. You know, we went to the Supreme Court and fought it. But what happened today is really a message that says, you know what, small business, you're the last priority for this law.
But
we
how?
Really
how?
Don't
because
care
what he
about
said
you.
was, you can't get on healthcare.gov. I mean, basically, it seems like a mechanism to protect the failing website, to say, here's a way of reducing traffic. Let's tell, I don't know, half of those who want to use it, they're not allowed to, they can't, and if they want to go get insurance for their employees over the next year, they have to go through an insurance broker, which can be much more expensive over the next 12 months. They're not even allowed to come to healthcare.gov until after the midterm elections next year.
That's right. It's insulting. But you know what? We've been insulted as a community, the small business community, so many times by this law and unfortunately by this president, and today is the latest insult.
But what does it do? I mean, if you can't, so you can't get on the website now. This time next year, the small businesses will go on the website, and you know, there have been predictions of sticker shock. And when the president delayed a deadline for others a couple days ago, they said, oh, he's trying to prevent the sticker shock until after the midterm elections. Do you think that is what this is about for the small businesses, or is it just all about keeping them off healthcare.gov so it has a shot of working?
No, I think there's a part of that. I'm sure that if they're going to pick a group to stay away in the meantime, then to make things easier, then fine, why not small business? I mean, who cares, right? But I think a year from now, what we're going to see is small business owners having to make this terrible decision of whether to continue offering insurance to their employees. And it's going to be heartbreaking and it's going to be ugly. But I think probably deep down, it's a lot of the intention of the law. And I think Mark said this earlier, that getting people to go into the individual market and into the exchanges is the real goal here. And a year from now, there's going to be heartbreak in small business families all over America when that decision is made, because they probably just won't be able to afford it anymore as a small employer. And it's a terrible thing. We've
covered some of that already on the show, because a lot of small businesses chose not to wait and didn't take advantage of the loophole, and they're going through it now. But the big shoe is going to drop in a year from now. Jean, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Megan.
Well, there's also a new twist tonight in the story about the top political writer for Time magazine and why he told an interviewer that he believes that this health care law does provide for rationing, that there will be rationing once Obamacare kicks in, that was very real. Then he tried to backtrack it. Then today he had a different message, and we'll tell you what he said and what the truth is.